Cheers, Love and War.
I've never been to a therapist before. Never had the need. Just Dana and I said, hey, therapy, that sounds like fun.
Murphy Brown, Mr. Holland's Opus, and Ray Donovan. You know his voice from Mysteries at the Museum, Hercules, Goof Troop, the Santa Claus movies 2 and 3, and that Twizzlers commercial from the 80s.
It makes me happy.
You've seen him on CNN, Fox News, and The Soup.
If they do strike Seth Rogen and James Franco, what a great end to their careers.
You know him as a mama's boy.
Oh, my God.
Tiger Thomas, middle-aged MC.
I'm middle-aged MC. Get down and lick my white belt, bitch.
Viper Tongue, and the man who throws the football at the meatball.
The guy that knocks the meatball off the Christmas tree.
And most importantly, the main host of this radio show. So, without further ado, a man who needs absolutely no introduction, Jay Thomas.
Believe it or not, I received a semi-deceased and desist note from someone at AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. I guess one of their members was listening, and they heard me do MC AARP, and they thought it was a recorded product that we were going to put on you. Did you put it on Facebook or something, Christina?
It's on SoundCloud.
Yeah, you got to take it off.
All right.
You got to take it off.
I thought they wanted you to write like their new jingle or something.
No,
Be
they
the
did not.
spokesperson.
No, they. Here's what's. I mean, this is really the first time it's ever happened to me. If something is recorded, and you use an actual name of something, right? Yes, it's a parody, obviously, and everything else. But if I was going to proceed, and they were going, "Are you, do you think you're going to proceed and release this and everything else?" You would need clearance. It wasn't a cease and desist. It was a kind of like, I'm not calling AARP and getting clearance for fucking, talking about some old guy, getting his dick hard and screwing, young women. I doubt what they would.
You think their members would like that?
I'm middle-aged MC. There's no one who's going to stop that. So that's. But it was really polite. It wasn't, and it came through my agency. And, of course, my agency doesn't know a thing about me, right? Nothing. And you know this, Christina, from that manager woman that I've had that they've never booked me on anything.
Yes.
And she'll get the emails, and it'll be something about, seeing you naked in a truck stop or something.
Well, her name
and
is
it's to
Christine,
her.
right?
Yeah, and it's to her. And they'll go, "Oh, Christine, don't even give this to Jay. I want to see you naked at a truck stop or something." And she'll go, "What's Jay? What's going on? What is this?" She was being sexually harassed as you, right? Mm-hmm. And she was laughing about it. She thought it was funny. But anyway, that was that. So yeah, and we could say AARP and make fun and do all of that. But you know what else I think is funny? I just put on the assistant producer, which is, what we use to get the phone calls and all that. And usually it says Studio 5, and it says my name or something. This one says no director is talent. What does that mean? No director is talent. That's what it says here.
Is there an option to click something?
No. But what's funny is that doesn't even make sense. No director is talent.
Save it.
Put
it to passive.
Yeah, put it in passive.
Because you'll shut down the phone.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will. Because I need to have it in that mode.
Well, wait a minute. God, don't start. I don't start.
Go to connection.
I'm not joking
Jay,
with you.
go to connection.
No.
Go, look at me.
I don't even know how to do that.
Look at me. Shh.
There's no look at you.
Stop.
1,500 miles away.
Listen,
look at you.
listen to my voice.
Now, Mike and I.
Look
hold
up
on a second.
to the
Mike,
left.
I need you to come in here and talk to these people for 1 minute. I need you to come.
What do you mean?
I get to this studio. By the way, this is the third, not the Dell that I use. I've used 3 of Mike's computers today, and have broken 2 of them, and I'm now on the 3rd one. And I'm going to bring him in.
Is that why nothing I sent you opened today?
Right.
No
nothing
links
nothing,
that I
and
sent?
nor could I hear anything. The great Mike Church, everybody.
Hi, Mike.
What can I do for you? Well, first of all, tell them what it's like when I arrive.
We know what it's like because you arrived here, too.
It's like someone from 1874 got transported in here.
I'm an
It hasn't
outlander.
even
Mike-
figured out how to work a telegraph.
Mike,
I'm
if you
Outlander.
go
I'm
to
Outlander.
SoundCloud and hear the episode where Jay has a fight with
He
the
starts looking
IT
for
guy
the line
because
of
he
the
doesn't know
crank
where
thing
to
on
right
the
click or
telephone.
left click.
Hold on, he doesn't have headphones. She wants you to go to what, SoundCloud and listen.
No. That's for something later. If you want to see Jay flip out with the IT guy, if you want to hear Jay flip out with the IT guy, that's on
What does
SoundCloud.
he go to? What does he go on SoundCloud?
Yeah.
Jay flips out with the IT guy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'll send it to you, Mike. It's great. But
Now,
listen,
look, that says no director is talent, but they wanted to go to passive. How do I do that?
go to connection,
Connection.
go
Wait a
to
minute.
desktop director.
Audience, I'm going to walk you through this.
Yeah.
Let's click the button called Connection.
Mike can hear.
Let's scroll a little window down
Desktop
and go Desktop
Director.
Director. There's follow the arrows. Use your words, Jay. Use your words.
Now go to
Go
passive
to
mode.
passive mode.
Okay.
Bammo.
done.
Now here's my question. Why would it be passive mode?
Because you're
a
passive.
passive guy.
No, he's not.
All right, I don't even know what that means. All right, thank you, Mike. The great Mike Church. By the way, why is it that only right-wing stations are patriot?
Go climb to the top of the telephone pole and fix the telegraph. For
No,
you?
no. Why is it liberal shows why couldn't I be on a patriot channel, but it's liberal? We're patriots.
Sure.
You liar. You know, huh? I mean,
Sure, why not?
why don't they do that? Like, why do you always get the? You guys have usurped 1776. The conservatives have.
I think if you were to poll people that listen to the Patriot Channel all day long, they would probably put me in league with you.
Really?
Yes.
Really? An idiot? A complete idiot?
No, a anti-war rainbow flag waver.
No, we are Southern. We're almost gay.
You're almost.
We're
gay.
almost gay. When you're a liberal down here, that's it. It's just, you know. All right, thank you, Mike Church. Now, you know, it's funny. He says he's been saying for a few years, I think being friends with me for almost a decade now, I believe he's changed because we have, discussions. We've become terrific friends. We are polar opposites politically. And then suddenly we find we're both against, maybe that's a libertarian thing. But now with him, there's nothing he's ever said to me that I have any interest in politically. But what's amazing about Mike and many of my conservative friends, they're all very, very intelligent, incredibly intelligent. It's not like I deal with a group of dumb guys who it's no fun to talk to. They don't have a lot of interest in, and maybe Mike does, he's more religious, in whether gays get married. And I think everybody can agree that, abortion ought to be in the early stages of the zygote and all that kind of stuff. The other day, there was an interesting thing. A woman was murdered. No, she wasn't murdered. She went on Craigslist. I don't know if you saw this or not. It's pretty heinous. She was 7.5 months pregnant, and she went on Craigslist to get baby clothes. She goes to a woman's house. You can bring this up. It's somewhere out there. And the woman invites her into the house and then gets a butcher knife, gets the woman in the bathroom, and cuts her stomach open and takes the kid out at this thing. And I don't know what state it is, but they didn't charge the woman who cut the baby out. The baby died, the mother lived. They didn't charge the woman who cut the baby out with murder. They charged her with assault or whatever the hell it is. And I'm looking at it, and the reason is, here it is right here. I apologize. Dynell Lane, 34, faces 8 charges. None include murder. And it must be Colorado. It's Colorado. It's an unfathomable crime. It is horrible to imagine. And, of course, the Archbishop is screaming and yelling. And then there are a bunch of people on the women's rights sides, the abortion side, and here's the sad thing about all of this. Obviously, if you want the child, if you are nurturing the unborn baby and you want it, and it's moving along, and yes, that child could have probably lived outside of this woman's, womb. There's not a liberal person I know that would say that this woman did not murder that child. But if they say that, then the laws on the books, this is the fear, the laws on the books in not just Colorado, but any states like here in Louisiana, I think if you perform an abortion, I think it's a $100,000 fine and 10 years in jail or something. I don't even think they're allowed. And so if you get one, I think you go to jail too. Who knows? They're going, oh, well, that's going to mean they're going to start saying that the zygote, the thing that's growing inside of you, is a human being, and it's murder to kill it. That's what they're all afraid of. I look at that and I go, it makes sense that this horrible woman murdered a child that was wanted, that was viable. And so I look at it and think, yeah, as a Democrat, as a liberal, I would have absolutely given a speech in the Congress of Colorado and said, of course this is murder, but it should not cloud a woman's right to choose up to whatever the point is, But here's the problem, and I have some friends of mine are going through this now. They're 5.5 months in, and the child is horribly deformed. And I've been there. It is one of the saddest, most horrible things that a couple can ever go through. It is absolutely horrible. And so the question is, do you want to deliver? Christina, I mean, you're not planning on having any kids, but you must have girlfriends. They'll say, well, I'll have whatever God gives me. And okay, I nod. Congratulations. I'm not that brave. And sadly, my friends' children weren't that brave either, and I totally agree with it. But you see, if they change the law, then they could call that murder. That's the weird thing. So nothing is ever like, case by case. That's what's so sad. And then if you get a judge that's more Christian or right wing or whatever, then it's so weird, isn't it? It's like, I mean, Steve, you're not even, kind of into this thing, but it's like somebody cuts a child out of somebody's stomach and the child could have been viable. That's murder, isn't it? Isn't that murder to you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, me too. But she's not being charged with it. So my point is, and that was pretty gruesome, and I apologize. But my point is that when I speak to my friends who have a lot of conservatives, it's all about money, and it's all about no regulations and pump all the oil that you want to, and everything else. I'm here in Louisiana, by the way, and this weekend we're going to go down to the little toe of Louisiana, down to Venice, literally the bottom of the United States, in this area, and we're going to go fishing. And there have been literally no fish almost this entire year. Now, this is an area where we would bring in 100 pounds of fish in an afternoon, fill up, coolers with fish. And my buddy Mike DeGree, who passed away a few years ago, had gone down in a submarine and said the bottom of the Gulf from the oil spill is dead. Now, BP is down here giving everybody money, giving everything, all kind of money, billions and everything else. I mean, we may be now seeing the remnants of that. Now, the river's been up to 13 or 14 feet or something, and that muddies the water, so that hasn't helped. But there are no fish. Isn't that weird? I mean, for the first time in my life, there are no fish. It's really odd.
When you go down there?
What's that?
So what are you going to do when you go fishing?
You go and you hope. It's like you try and find a spot, and you just go to your old spots, and they don't know how many years it will take. So when the oils spread, the fish couldn't, lay the eggs, and if an egg hits the oil, right, it's dead. And what was it, 18 million gallons? I don't even know what the number was, or barrels or something. It was, It was absolutely horrible. So, but yeah, so we're going to go. We have this fabulous boat, and no one is catching any fish here. And I'm telling you, we would load them up, bring them in. I've sent you the pictures, haven't I, Christina? Of me laying with the fish all around
Yeah.
me. Yeah, they're not catching anything. My brother's a charter captain. So, yeah, it's really, it's really odd. Now, no one down here, right or left, would disagree with the culpability of BP. Now BP is resuing to get some of their money back or whatever. Now, here's the weird thing they did. If you were affected by the spill, let's say you're a waiter in a restaurant, and you have been working forever in the restaurant, not even forever, 2 or 3 years, and you sent in your thing and you said, I was affected because there were no more local fish to serve during the spill, and my tips and my salary and my days at work fell. I know people that have gotten as much as $8,000-$10,000 from BP because their waiter job was affected. Yeah. If you're a sport fisherman like my brother, he put in that it had affected his life. He wasn't not a professional fisherman, just sport fisherman. And it affected his life. It affected his quality of life. I think they gave my brother $5,000. I should have sent my name in. I come down, I visit, I have a home. I can't sleep now because of this lack of fish. Can't sleep. I'm frightened of oysters. What do you think of that? I'm scared of oysters because of you people. I need a check. I need an oyster check. Hey, did you read about the woman who was eating some oysters somewhere and 52 diamonds? No, not
Yes.
diamonds. Pearls fell out of her? Have you been able to contact that woman? These are my favorite guests.
I've reached out to her already. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, she hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I'm persistent with it. So.
Were they fried oysters? I didn't. Were they raw?
Yeah,
How do you
fried.
get 52 oysters? I mean, pearls inside these oysters. Now, they may be freshwater, or I don't know, probably saltwater. But are they real pearls? Are they worth any money or anything?
They seem to be.
I haven't seen a follow-up about it, but I know that the server in the story was quickly getting, putting them away into a bag. So I would assume that they are worth, I don't know, something.
First of all, I wonder if any of those pearls are actually her teeth. Some of her teeth. Those are hard. Pearls are hard. Yeah. I hate biting into something and there's a crunch, don't you? Like if you like a piece of glass or something. I hate that.
How often are
I mean,
you
and
glass,
an oyster,
Jay?
you eat an oyster, you fried or raw, you pop it in. It's a, you're in it. I wonder if she just ate one or two and then started feeling the rest. How many oysters did she have in front of her? That's the other question. Have you seen a picture of her on Facebook?
Yes.
How's she look? She looked like a
She's
big
dainty
oyster.
little woman. No, she's cute little woman.
I mean,
She looks like Kelly Clarkson.
there's
Anything
video.
like
No, nothing like
There's
the
video?
opposite
Sure.
of Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson, I think, has handled this being called fat pretty
I
cool,
feel
right?
so bad for her. Yeah.
Why?
Because she's being ridiculed everywhere she looks. She's a singer. She's not a model. She had a baby.
Right.
She's a regular girl. Leave her alone.
Right.
Let her do her
Well,
thing.
if she says that,
she's
they
happily
will.
married. She's
If she says that,
happy
they
in her
will.
life. And she does say that. I think she's great. I like the way that she handles the media and the
And when the other day there was a thing where, and they tried to make a big deal out of it. Jeb Bush on some document checked off he was Hispanic, and there were headlines. And I'm saying, oh, come on, guys. Now, his wife is Hispanic, and his children are half, Latino, Latina. And so he says pretty simply, well, obviously I'm not, and it was a mistake, like that. He goes, and I'm sure there's no one around that thinks that I was trying to get something because I'm, Latino. And that was the end of that. That's how you handle it. That's it. Who just, Rolling Stone is not firing those people that said the woman was raped in the at the unknown fraternity on the unknown night that there was no party. They're not firing anybody for doing that. And everyone's screaming and yelling. And if the guy just never fires them, then they don't get fired. If the company backs you, it eventually goes away, and then the people on the internet, they're like sharks, aren't they? They just swim to another wounded animal in the water. They'll find something else, on the internet. It's funny. It's like I've hated people like that all my life. I mean, I don't mind doing it to your face or on the radio or whatever, but these sneak attacks and people go, oh, you sound like an old fuddy-duddy about the internet. No, but I've never had a problem on it because I'm not there. You can't hack into anything. You can't. My password is the small letter A. That's it. A. Mike had me type a password earlier that Snowden couldn't have gotten into. I mean, it was 25 letters, capitals, numbers, small letters, dashes, question mark. I mean, it was the NSA won't even be able to figure it out, right? Mine is the small letter A.
But that's for your personal stuff, right? Sure. Because like for my work email, I have to have a certain amount of characters. Really? A certain amount of numbers, symbols, capital letters, lowercase. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Mine is always going to be my cat and then some numbers. Like, 1, 2, 3, my cat, 4, 5, 6. Or it'll be my cat, 4, 7, 8, 9. Something like that. It's always going to, the base is always going to be my cat. What do you think of that? Yeah.
I think
I would love them to go in. I think my checking account has $208.17 in it. Go ahead. You can have it. Woo. Go get it. Yeah, go get it. Hack it. Because everything of any meaning to me is in North Carolina at some big accountant's, my friend, accountant's place, and it's all in whatever it is. And my credit cards and everything, they go there. I also don't get any mail at my home. None whatsoever. I've never received mail at my home because people can go online, see where you live. It's ridiculous. I've had guys send me pictures of my rental properties because, my name is on it or something. Of course, my main home, you can't. I mean, I know how to do that. I buy it under a corporate name and it's, under a trust or whatever, and it's in, that I do phony stuff. I don't want anybody to be able to find out where I live. By the way, I hate that Google card that goes around. I don't like that. Now, the other day a woman flashed it, or showed her tits or something. Mm-hmm. I really don't like that thing. I find that to be a real invasion of privacy. And I think that you ought to be able to remove your address and the picture of your home from that site. That to me is an invasion of privacy. That is not public. They are taking a photograph of your private home. Am I not correct? I mean, Steve, if something happened to you, do you realize somebody would go on, what is it called? Google what? Google Maps. And you've gotten in trouble, and they'll find your building or whatever and find out that's where you live, and there it is. And the people can get to you. I think that's...
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, and I don't get why you can't stop it. That's, I don't know why they can't stop paparazzi.
Well, put it like the no-call list that doesn't work. It works for 6 monts, and then all of a sudden there's a list.
Unsubscribe. Try that for a while. Try unsubscribe for a while. But the other thing is you really... You tell you can't take a picture of certain people and print it, right? Like I don't think I can take a picture of you. I don't know what the law is, but you can take a picture of any celebrity and print it in a magazine, and you can wait for them outside of their house, right, or outside of their place of business, and take a picture of them, and then you can get it printed and say horrible stuff, right? You can put it on the internet, you can put it in newspapers. I've never understood that. If my image is my value and you're going to take a picture, of, Tina Fey or whatever, and her image is her value and you sell that image to someone, I think that ought to be against the law. You've stolen my image. And also you're hurting my livelihood. You're saying something bad about them. You need a release or whatever. You can't do a movie or a documentary without handing out a release to someone. I can't bring a crew in without you signing a piece of paper, Steve. Did you know that? I can't just video you.
Yeah.
But if somebody came in to the studio and we caught Will Ferrell in some, funny or embarrassing thing, and Christina did something on her phone, and she releases it to YouTube or whatever, Will can't sue her. I think that is absolutely wrong. That's ridiculous. Who said my life ought to be transparent? No one. The government's not even transparent. And by the way, that Freedom of Information Act? A lot of that stuff you get, it's blacked out, redacted. You get some stuff, but a lot of it is like...
Yeah, I remember I used to have to get documents from like the courthouse or from whatever, and you'd get a document and the whole thing would be like Sharpied out. It looked like the whole document was Sharpied out and you'd see basically nothing.
All the good stuff. All the good stuff is Sharpied out.
Everything you really need, the important things,
yeah. Let's go to Eric, who's in New Jersey. Yes, hello, Eric, it's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay Thomas, how are you?
Fine.
When you were talking before about when you were going fishing, was that in California?
No, in Louisiana. Going down to Venice, Louisiana, the greatest fishing spot in the world, and damn, the spill and maybe some weather conditions have been windy and high. The river's been high, and it makes them. What happens is it makes the water muddy, and literally the fish can't see the bait, and the water's muddy and the water is high, and what you wait for is you wait for the bait to come out of the marsh, and the fish eat it when it comes out. And then in the evening, when the bait fish go back into the marsh, the fish turn around and get on the other side. So you toss outside earlier, and you come a little more inside. And it's been going on for millions of years. And so you're just kind of being one of the, you're acting like a bait fish, right? Well, the water's really high, the water's really muddy. The fish may be moving someplace else, but the other thing is there's oil everywhere. And by the way, we've been eating oil fish and oysters forever in Louisiana. And I used to joke and say that's what made it taste good, but I'm not kidding. Do you know I've seen guys take a broken motor from a boat, let's say the thing blows up, unscrew it and just throw it overboard. I've seen people throw everything into the water, and that probably just stopped in the 80s. People throwing shit. Who knows what's down there? Yeah, we threw everything.
Especially corporate.
I did too. Yeah. Oh, you piss, you shit.
I did too, but I didn't do it on a grand scale like BP.
No, that was awful. What can I do for you, Eric? What can I do for you?
Well, I originally thought maybe you were talking about California because it's coming out about the radiation from Fukushima and all.
There's no fish in California anyway because it's been completely fished out. There's a place I go which is in Malibu. It's called Paradise Cove, and you should take the kids there and stuff. And it's a pretty cool place. And I think Matthew McConaughey. There are these unbelievably expensive $1 million mobile homes right above it. And Matthew McConaughey, can own anything he wants, but a lot of people have bought those and use them as a beach house, right? And you come down, and because I've seen him surfing there and stuff, and there's a cool restaurant. In the restaurant, there's pictures of all old Hollywood people, Cary Grant and, Frank Sinatra with giant fish that they went out, and there is not a fish anywhere along the coast of California. You just don't. We have some charter boats or whatever, and maybe they go out there and they, drop a few lines over a wreck or something. But somebody, either the United States or the Japanese or somebody, just sucked every fish out of the water. Now, that's not allowed in Louisiana, but they did that there. There's nothing there. I had a boat. We sold it. It was boring. Absolutely boring to try and fish there.
I don't understand why anybody even stays in California anymore.
Oh, yeah, I do. It's fabulous. Forget who cares? You're going to die anyway? What difference does it make? Don't go near your microwave. How many times? Did you go by the microwave today? Is it about waist high? Good luck to your testicles. Good luck. Think I'm kidding you? That's not a joke. But I like my food.
Right, but
to be cooked really fast.
I had a vote on that.
But I put my face right in it to see if the cheese is melting. I mean, my God. You know.
I hear you.
They wanted to give me radiation once. I said, no, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go home and make a melted cheese. I'll be fine.
Or go to the airport. I know you're going to get it anyway.
You know what? Next time you get a tumor, just turn the microwave on to 5 minutes and hold your head by the microwave. Yeah.
Is that the solution?
That's it, I guess. I don't know. If you have prostate cancer, you got to get up on the counter and pull your pants down and shove your ass against the screen of the micro. And I think for prostate cancer, you put it on reheat. That's what I think you do, and that kills it. All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. Let's go to George of New Jersey. Hello, George. It's Jay Thomas. Yes.
Hey, Jay. How are you?
Fine.
I just passed over the Hudson River, and one of them tunas jumped over my truck.
A what?
A tuna. So there's stuff in the Hudson River. No, anyway, what I was calling about...
You know what? I don't even know why you said it or why I'm laughing. It's just the image was so vivid in my mind of a tuna jumping over an 18-wheeler, crossing over the George Washington Bridge. It was just like, I got that in my head. Yeah, tuna.
The BP thing, it was just on commercials the last couple of weeks, and you mentioned this about how the BP has ruled the whole ocean down there.
Oh, they're great. They're great.
And you're saying there's not a fish found?
Not a fucking fish to be found. And here's what's funny. My brother says, he goes, these Yankees come down here. That's how people talk down here. These Yankees come down here, and he goes, we tell them, look, it's been really bad fishing, and the river's high. They don't mention BP. I mean, everybody it's the 800-pound, elephant. And so he says, now we're talking about, $800 for 4 hours or something, right? And with a tip and everything else, it's like $1,000 for 4 guys to go out. And my brother says, they go out. He struggles to catch about a half a dozen fish, and he says, these stupid fucking snowbirds think they've had a great time. That's what he said to me. I said, well, wait a minute. Did they have a good time? He goes, yeah, they caught 6 fish. To us down here, we literally, our limit is 25 ahead of I believe, speckled trout and 5 of a certain size of redfish. It sounds crazy. I've hit my limit of 25 in an hour and a half or 2 hours. So you bring your kids on the boat and your mother and your mother-in-law, you'll see boats packed with people so that these assholes can catch 25 a person. And I'm not joking. And if the game warden stops them, each person on the boat will, let's say they catch 150 fish. We literally on a day, you would bring in 150 fish.
You don't have to worry
that
about
just
that
stopped. No, you don't have to worry about that ever again. Who knows? You know what? I believe the fish here are tough, and I think they'll come back. I believe they will.
It's going to take a while. It's not going to, it's not just a 3-minute or a 3-year reversal. But the way BP makes it sound like everything's hunky dory, and that's not the case. I mean, it takes a long time for a forest to regenerate. I can imagine what fish are like when it comes to oil spills.
Well, we have New Orleans in South Louisiana is basically half black and half white. And so it's affected, biracially, this community. Whenever I go to an event, BP gives some huge amount of money to the community college, to the event, or whatever, and they usually have a black woman come out who's a vice president or whatever and give the award away. And I'm sitting there going, now, wait a second. When I was watching that thing, I don't remember any black women speaking for BP during the spill. Do you? Do you remember any black women talking?
You never seen them cleaning off a bird either with the oil.
No, you never saw any of that. It used to see like white guys coming out or being in trouble, or I mean, they've really come down here, and now look, are they trying, or are they full of shit? And I think it's probably a little bit of both. And I'm sure the woman is a vice president and was a vice president and all of that. But all of a sudden, you would think BP is the most generous, non-discriminatory group that you want to run up and hug them as they give this $10,000. And it's one of those big checks. one of those
they
big.
learn from the politicians, because the politicians do the same thing. Just during election time, and then after the election, they don't give a damn about anybody.
That's true. Well, Barack Obama, I have to tell you, what seemed like a fabulous guy. He gets in there. This guy's like, "Fuck you." He's like, "Fuck you." You know what? It's funny. I think he's mad that he killed Osama bin Laden, and I really believe this. And for some reason, the liberals don't like killing. They don't like killing. And then the Republicans went, that son of a bitch. He killed the guy that we hate, and they did not congratulate him, and they wanted to know why he put his body in the ocean and didn't take him back. And to me, they should have taken Barack Obama back. They should have taken Osama bin Laden back to Washington, and they should have hung him or something dead already in the the square there.
You don't believe he's dead yet.
It's ridiculous. Or at least drag his body up and down Pennsylvania Avenue. To me, that would have been.
The Trade Center.
Yes, take him on a tour dead of the friggin' Trade Center and let people hit him with sticks as they go by. Yes, and tell crows and shit eat his eyes out, and his body is left like Mussolini hanging by his thumbs, in the middle of Rome.
Let Fox report it, and it would stop the nonsense from these
all of
people.
it. All of it. Yeah, and I believe that when that happened, I think that he seemed like he changed. I believe he thought that he was going to be just, going to be getting almost a free ride for a while. And they poo-pooed it, and no matter what he did was wrong. And I just think that's when the change was. It was almost like, fuck you. You know what? I killed the bastard. I got him. I got him.
If Barack Obama was white, it would have been treated all differently. You know that.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if a white Democrat would have been. You see, the liberals aren't going to be screaming about killing some. They probably wanted Obama. I keep saying the wrong thing. Osama bin Laden. They probably wanted to try and rehabilitate him.
Yeah. We'll bring him over here. We'll give him a trial, and we'll put him in prison for a couple of years and see if it. And then we'll let him go like Gitmo.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's nice talking to you, George. Nice talking. You're a patriot. I'm a patriot. Thank you, George. Thank you. Let's go to John in Kentucky. Boy, that's too bad. You guys couldn't take your professional team and beat, Duke's professional team. Isn't that sad?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Well, I bet you're upset.
Hey, Jay,
horribly upset. What is it?
Now I got to spend all my time on Google Maps. So, I just Google Mapped your house, Jay.
Really? Well, how's it going? Is my wife home?
Jay, the picture's a little fuzzy, but it kind of looks like Al Sharpton taking a piss in a fucking cutting garden. That's what I saw.
Well, be careful, because I'm going to get some peels soon, Christina, and I will no longer look like Al Sharpton. It's going to take a few months.
But I knew it was your house. You know why?
Why?
There was a mail truck parked in the driveway.
Okay, get rid of him, you bastard. You fucking bastard. You son of a bitch. I'm afraid to answer the goddamn telephone because of that shit. You people have ruined my fun doing this radio show. Jay, it seems like you're taking time off. I guess, let me tell you why. I am so upset by this mailman thing that sometimes I can't even complete the goddamn show. It's got to stop. Man, what's sexy and brown and sleek?
Your mailbag.
And comes out of your rear end. No. And should be in the Museum of Modern Art. What am I talking about? It's the Squatty Slim. That's what I'm talking about. The new Squatty Slim is the modern style Squatty Potty that has been sculpted in natural plywood finish. Now, of course, it's been sanded so that it's perfectly smooth. You're not going to get a splinter in your ass. Don't worry about it. The Squatty Slim is the perfect complement to any bathroom. It is engineered so that your body can mirror the angle I'm sorry, and efficiency that your butthole needs to have the elimination work properly. It's so easy, and many of you may suffer from hemorrhoids, constipation, or just the doggone old-fashioned difficulty eliminating. You'll need a Squatty Potty. It's doctor recommended. Squatty Potty featured on Shark Tank, seen again this week in an encore performance on ABC. The Squatty Potty Eco, available all bed, bath, and beyonds, including the Squatty Potty Slim. SquattyPotty.com, a limited time. You use the code J, and you'll receive a free bottle of Sweet Lou. It deodorizes those bathroom smells. It's the new Squatty Slim at SquattyPotty.com.
Follow Jay at RealJThomas or Twitter.com/RealJThomas and see the retweets from his staff, since he won't tweet himself. Unless he's getting paid for it. More with the Jay Thomas Show in minutes on SiriusXM Indy. That wasn't too bad, was it? We told you it would be quick. Now, do your part and give us a call. 866-99-INDY. Now, here's Jay Thomas.
In a few minutes, I always love these people that have thought, wow, there needs to be a book about this. And I love bringing them on because it's hard for me to believe they did it. It's interesting. And, a book isn't like 6 months or 6 weeks or whatever. It takes years to research these things and figure it out. And then you have to get a publisher and everything else. It's a book about Monopoly, the game Monopoly. It's called The Monopolists. And she's a sports writer for the New York Times who is named for something you see on a football field. And it's very, very important. That's kind of a shout-out around the horn to those of you that listen. It's a private little shout-out. Then later on, we'll have the inventor of the burrito pillow. Yeah. At night, you on your sleep number, you're going to have a burrito pillow.
She also makes a burrito costume, so you can be one with the burrito.
I would love that. Mm-hmm. I love costumes.
Who's not going to love that?
Pillow should double as a costume.
Hey, the other night I watched the picture of me putting on my bunny costume, the one I used to ride around New York in, and I wore it at my kids' Easter egg hunt one year, and I'm taking everything from all the VHSs and DVDs and all, and I'm putting it into my hard drive, and so there I am. And my wife is helping me and everything else, and I leave my tennis shoes on. And so my wife says, why did you put the bunny feet on? I said, it's hard to walk in the bunny feet. I said, I've always, and then, So I go in, and my kids are little. My kids are like, 5 and 3 or something. And my son that's in his mid-20s, on the video, I see him look at the bunny come in the backyard. All the kids rush up to the Easter Bunny. It's funny, and I hadn't even been the Easter Bunny in the movies yet either. And I come in, and I've got the teeth and the whole thing, and I'm completely covered. And I see my 5-year-old son in the video looking at my feet. Sniper rifle's ready. And I go, oh, my God. And so he kept looking at my feet, kept looking up at the bunny, and all this other activities going on that everybody's laughing at. And I just focused in on him. And I called him and I said, do you remember 20 years ago when the Easter Bunny came to your birthday party? And he says to me, yeah, with your tennis shoes on, that Easter Bunny? I said, you really remember? He goes, yes, I remember that. He says, the Easter Bunny comes into the backyard, and he said, I was amazed. Everybody was amazed. But he had your tennis shoes on. And I said, did you think it was me? And he says, I guess I thought it was you, but it confused me. But he had your tennis shoes on. And you weren't at the party, suddenly. I said, that's like your first memory? He goes, yes. It was maybe one of the first disappointments in my life. Yeah. Wear the bunny feet when you get a costume. Okay? Let's go to Mike of Illinois. Yes, Mike. It's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Hi, Jay. Got treated once again, that great rerun, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, with you as the mean son.
They accused me of burning my mother with cigarettes, but I wasn't doing it.
No, and just a great role. But why did they take so long to pay you?
Why did they take so long to pay me? What does that mean?
Well, isn't that why the mailman's at your house delivering a check?
Okay, you see, you're not funny.
No, that one was.
Yeah, it's not. You got to do it. You got to do it right. Yeah,
that was a big fail.
You know, and by the way, somebody did ask me, why does it upset you? It's because a bit in the hands of non-professionals is much like little kids who, when you do something for them and they go, do it again, Daddy. So you do it again. Do it again, Daddy. So you do it again. Or they act silly and they keep acting silly. After a while, they're not professional. At a certain point, a bit either continues because it's funny or it comes to an end. I mean, we do all kind of stuff here, and then it comes to an end. And now it's in the hands of assholes like that. I mean, he was so uninteresting. And it tells us so much about you as a human. It tells you what a nothing you are. Now, John of Kentucky, very funny. Very funny. Here's the problem. You don't know how to do it. You think you don't. You have no idea. So you could say it, but I won't acknowledge it. I won't acknowledge it. Let's go to Ed of Boston. Yes, Ed, it's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Well?
Yes, Ed, go ahead.
Jay now!
All right, get rid of him. Get rid of him. We're going to call all phones off. That's what I'll do. I'll just talk. I'll just talk.
My job a little easier,
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, keep it up. I'll just talk. I don't care. Either like me bullshitting with people or the phones have been, usurped sadly by the untalented. The untalented. Jeff of West Virginia. Yes, Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Jay, you were talking about the fishing down in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
The problem is about the oil. First of all, that oil is still leaking at the bottom of the Gulf. And but what they did.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Where's that camera? They had that camera on it for 6 weeks. Where's that camera?
But what happened was, you remember the tar balls that would come up and wash up on the beach and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what happened was BT used a chemical called Corexit, and they would spray them at night. And what that does is it makes like a gel or a gelatin over the top of the ocean. And
I've used that. I've used Corexit for anal sex.
It doesn't work.
I have. The last time I had anal sex, they were out of KY, and I said, really? And I was at a service station. The guy said, have you ever tried Corexit? I said, no, I haven't. And it works perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, is that kind of like a...
By the way, when you put your penis into somebody's rear end, do you know sometimes that's called a tar ball? A tar ball? That's a tar ball. I tarballed her.
I thought it was budget.
Well, no. I think being tarballed is more inventive. Yes.
But the Corexit, what it does is it forms a gel. It takes all the tar balls, all the oil, and it falls down to the bottom of the Gulf.
That's it. Yeah.
Now all that stuff is on the bottom of the ocean. The plankton can't grow, things like that, so you lose all your fish. You lose the primary. And
you know what? I have to tell you, can't you see all over the globe? And what's so weird is that can't you see that at some point human beings just commit basically. They do. They basically, and I think it'll be 1,000 years or longer or whatever. But there will be a time when it is like walls, closing in. The North Koreans, the Chinese. I mean, they're completely nuts, right?
What I can't figure is that you look at all, let's just say the upper 1% or whatever, and they take from this place, take from that place.
Thank you. Yes.
Where are they going to go, though? Where are they going to go?
You know what? Here's what it is. I was thinking this the other day. Somebody said to me, have you ever thought about becoming, voting Republican? And I thought, I did it one time. I thought about voting Republican because I had gotten everything I wanted. I had a great house. I had cars for everybody. I had mutual funds and everything else. And I really did say, I said it out loud, I've really gotten everything I want. And I don't want to give any of it away, and I don't want other people to have any of it. That's what I said to him. And I said, that's the only way I would decide to do it, right? And let's say they voted a guy in. I would save 5% taxes, whatever the hell it is, not a lot, And there'd be, less Social Security and whatever the hell it is, whatever. And then I thought, fuck it. I can't do it. I just can't do it. What's funny? I've never discriminated against a black person or a gay person or anything. You know who I've discriminated against? I absolutely hate white guy businessmen. I abso-fucking-lutely hate, and I can say it all day. They are a group of massive, how about this group? Day traders, those guys. Yeah. A complete group of assholes. Now, if you said this about blacks or women or gays or Latinos, they'd put us all in jail. What's wonderful about it is they're the ones that need to be discriminated against. By the way, all of those guys that all the companies collapsed and all that caused the recession, they all got hundreds of millions of dollars. They're absolutely evil. I hate them. And if I read in the paper their obituaries, fine. They should all absolutely die of natural causes. All of them.
Can I ask you a question about yesterday?
You know what? You and I should talk off the air and probably have a cocktail. You know what? Put him on hold. I actually found someone I might want to hang with who's a listener. All right? Okay.
Bills are paid. Mike is hot. Let's get right to it.
We're going on the air, Pip. We're going live. This is it, man. This is the payoff.
Here's Jay Thomas on Sirius XM Indy.
I wanna be a billionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen.
Let's welcome Mary Pylon. Mary, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Before we talk about your book about Monopoly, which I have a lot of questions about, are you still writing sports at the New York Times?
No, I'm kind of at large. I'm writing for a bunch of publications, but mostly sports and business.
What do you think of that, the woman referee? Are you happy about that?
It's really interesting. There's actually a really fantastic book about umpires by Bruce Weber, who's at the Times. And he has a whole section in there about women officials and things. So it's a fascinating history.
Well, but this woman, I guess her name is Sarah Thomas. What I worry about is, I don't understand how 60-something-year-old guys run down the sideline with the fastest wide receiver, running back. I watched the guy who had to be in his middle 50s, seemed to be step for step with Marshawn Lynch. And I'm looking at it going, did that ref just run the last 40 yards with Marshawn Lynch? Have you ever wondered about that? How and they're in good shape and all, but they're not all, hockily. You know what I mean? They're, they're not young, those guys.
Right. It really depends what sport you're, talking about, what level you're talking about as well. I've met some officials who I definitely wouldn't mess with. They're really serious athletes. And then in some cases, it's kind of funny because it's hard to see this on TV, but sometimes if you're there in person, you can get more of a sense of how much people actually move around. And so obviously something like a Super Bowl or, there's going to be more attention paid. And also, something that ties into this that we haven't even talked about is video replay and how that's changed officiating, which is a huge piece of it too. So I don't know. I'd be careful to draw any assumptions though.
Well, the one thing about the woman referee is, I don't know if you've ever been to you've been to pro practice, but if you stand where the linebackers are, right? They have a ref right there. It is really, it's dangerous. It's really, and the guys use the referee as a screen sometimes. But other than that, I don't see how more refs don't get run over, which they do. That's the fear I have. If they, I don't know what that there's the back judge. I don't know what you call that guy, but that referee there in the middle. Not that these other guys couldn't get killed too, but I'm telling you, if they don't even have to discriminate against her, they might run over her a couple of times. Some big, like 260-pound linebacker,
Right. Well, it's interesting with football. I've spent some time writing about head injuries, and there's a lot of obviously conversation around the overall safety of the game. And it's, I think that in terms of the science of head injuries and concussions, we're only beginning to really learn what the longer-term impacts of the sport are. But it's interesting to see how this debate, which really I think started at the pro level, kind of permeating through not just the youth levels of the sports, but also things like exactly what you're talking about, officials, and how safe is it for people around the field. And I'd love to see research on that. I mean, who knows? But I think you bring up a really great point.
I don't want to, you see, what's sad is I want them to entertain me, I mean, it's like, it's gladiators, it's the weekend, I'm in the Coliseum, I'm in Rome, I have my toga on, entertain me, here come the lions, here come the Christians, eat the Christians, I'm having, a snack. I mean, that's the sad thing, is that most sports fans sit in front of the TV, entertain me, hit each other.
Right.
And that's the problem. I played football. One of my kids played. It is rough. You get the hell knocked out of you and stuff. I wonder what the percentage is of head injuries among football players and the population. I wonder if you did like a per capita kind of thing. I wonder. I mean, my wife's been drunk. My wife's been drunk and stoned, fell in the kitchen and screwed her head up completely, and there was no one chasing her. You know what I mean? She was, had an edible and a cocktail, and, we found her laying in a pool of blood by the dishwasher. What pissed me off is the dishes hadn't been done. That's really upsetting. But we got her to the hospital, and she's fine. But you know what? It really messed her up. And I got a friend who was in some kind of crazy car accident. Boink, hit the head. Never been right since then. So, it happens also, among, the regular population. But you're not here for that. Mary Pylon, The Monopolist is the book. Here's my funny question for you. You sit down, and there's a life story you could write, woman sports writer, a relationship book, something about, famous people. You decide to write about Monopoly. It seems that that's quite a crapshoot that a lot of people would be rushing out to buy the Monopoly book. Did the publishers say, we think this is a book that the world wants?
No, absolutely. Actually, it was completely the opposite of that, which is why it's so funny.
Really? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked.
No, absolutely the opposite. What happened was in 2009, I was on staff at the Wall Street Journal, and I was writing about the economy and business. And which, as you may remember, in 2009 was pretty depressing. Anytime I felt like I was assigned to cover a topic or a bank or whatever it might be, it would implode. So by default, I and a lot of other people kind of became financial crisis reporters. It just seemed like every single thing that was happening in the economy tied into that. And I actually grew up, I love games and puzzles. I grew up playing them a lot. I grew up in Oregon, speaking of football, cold and rainy, a lot of time to do that. And I was going to mention in passing in a story, blah, 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 like Monopoly invented during the Great Depression. Because I, like everybody, thought that was the story. And the Journal, is a paper that is very focused on accuracy. So even if it's just a throwaway line, you have to make sure it's right. And I was totally frustrated because I was looking, and it wasn't adding up. It wasn't making any sense. And I thought that would be the easy part of the story. And I heard about Ralph Ansbach, this man who was an economist living in Berkeley in the 70s, who I knew had been involved in some kind of litigation with Parker Brothers, which today is owned by Hasbro. And I contacted him on a whim, and I said, I know this is crazy, but I see that you were involved in like a lawsuit with these guys. What's the story with Monopoly? I'm just a reporter at the Journal trying to find out what the deal is. And he immediately got back to me and said, oh yeah, I know all about it, and kind of started telling me his story, which was insane, and kind of makes up the second half of the book. And was like, oh, it wasn't invented by a man in the Great Depression. It was invented by a woman in 1904. So that turned into one story for the Journal. And then that turned into a book proposal. Gosh, I mean, I think the book proposal took me maybe even a year.
No, was the book you're talking? Were you talking about the anti-monopoly book that the guy wrote? Is it called Anti-Monopoly?
I can't remember if I came across a deposition or a court case or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I remember this was like 5 years ago, so what was populated on Google is different now than it was then. But it didn't make any sense. Like, I was so confused with what had happened, and part of the reason why the book took me so long is that the story itself is quite complicated. I mean, it ended up stretching back to the Civil War era, and when Lizzie McGee, the woman who created this game, when her father was a little more politically active and things. So the narrative itself was pretty unwieldy, but then I put together the proposal. I spent a lot of time figuring out what exactly were the facts here, what exactly happened. And was it a book? I think that's I wasn't a writer who dreamed of doing a book. I was pretty happy with newspaper and magazine work, and I draw a lot of satisfaction from it. So at a certain point, you kind of get to the point of no return where you realize the story needs to be told. It needs to be told a certain way, and it needs a journalist touch. So that's how it all came about. But trust me, there were plenty of people here to say no.
Is it in your book that every Monopoly set in Cuba was destroyed by Fidel Castro?
That's not in the book, and I'm not 110% sure if it's actually true. And one of the challenges with the book was figuring out what to put in and what to put out.
Well, I got that from Rolling Stone. I got that from Rolling Stone. They don't give a shit whether it's true or not. They could care less.
Oh man, well, we won't go there. Although I did read the
that's my little journalism. That's my little journalism joke. It's my little journalism.
Yeah. Well, it's and the ones being at a place like the Journal and then the Times, if you really every single line you're focused on, and with a story, I'm so used to being in a newsroom every day where the people are alive and they're writing about public figures and current events. With Monopoly story, although a lot of people were still alive, a lot of the book's plot took place long, long ago. So I can't tell you how many times I'd be researching and think, gosh, I wish I could just ask Lizzie McGee this, or somebody at Parker Brothers that, or whatever it may be. So it was a different challenge.
Well, no, wait. Now you're trying to sell the book. The book is out, and Mary Pylon is with us. So tell us things about Monopoly, the game, that somebody listening would go, I've got to get that book, and I want to read that and more. That's how you're going to sell this book.
Sure. Well, what surprised me was that the story that I had been commonly, told that it was invented by a man in the Great Depression isn't true. And in fact, it was invented by a woman in 1904 and had this really surprising evolution for 30 years. So to me, that says a lot about the nature of innovation and this idea that we love to think that we could go into our basement and have a eureka moment and invent something that, too, will make us millionaires. But the truth is that's often not the case. And the innovation is often clumsy and messy, and Monopoly, which was created as a tool to protest against monopolies, ended up being, the total opposite of that. I also learned a lot about the game itself. I don't know how much people are interested in playing it, but most people play Monopoly wrong. If you're playing it correctly by the rules, which apparently nobody really reads, it should take 69 minutes, and that's been my experience playing it. But
no, wait a second. When you say it's against monopolies, for all of my life playing Monopoly, and by the way, I've always been the little iron. I like that because it has a little handle. Always been, and I'm going to ask you about those pieces in a second, but I've never felt one time while I was sitting with a group of people that I was negative because I won the game. And I don't, and the people that ended up without all the money or whatever it was, I just remember they felt like losers. And the fact that you say it's an anti-monopoly game, that it's against people that bought everything and owned everything, is kind of odd because I'm not who the hell played that and thought it was a protest? Anybody?
Right. That's a great point. And when Lizzie McGee created her game in 1904, she actually makes two rule sets. She makes a monopolist rule set and an anti-monopolist rule set. And pretty quickly, it's that monopolist rule set that takes on as a folk game. So for 30 years or so, that's the one that people are playing. And the game is spreading among like a lot of left-wing, who's who of America. So people who politically are kind of on the same page as her. So I think this was kind of something kind of funny and interesting about human nature, about when given the two rule sets, we kind of just naturally drifted towards the one where we, clobber each other. So I think pretty early on, long before Parker Brothers enters the picture, the message of the game certainly got muddled.
What are the little what are the pieces? There's a iron. There's a dog. What are the and what? Who picked the pieces and why are those pieces like that? The little things you go around. What are those?
Great question. When people were playing the earlier versions of the game, before the 1930s, mid-1930s, they would use whatever objects were sitting around, so like an earring, a button, just whatever was sitting around. So when Parker Brothers starts manufacturing the game is a huge hit, and they can't make these things fast enough. So they need to make tokens, and they call this company called Douse Manufacturing. It was based in Chicago, and a lot of people might know Douse more for the work they did creating prizes for Cracker Jack boxes. And if you look at some of the early Monopoly tokens, really, really early, some of them even have like a little loop because some of those cast molds were also used to make charms for charm bracelets. So the specific tokens, I don't know about why they used a dog, an iron, or this or that, but I definitely get the impression that it was what molds were sitting around and that these were tokens that were already in your iron, which is your favorite. In Chicago, there was a company called the Flatiron Company that, put these things in if you bought an iron, these little tchotchkes and things. So it was also like a lot of the game's history, kind of an accident.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever played Strip Monopoly?
No, I can't say that I have.
I haven't either. I just thought of that. I thought it would be a stupid thing to say. Well, look, Mary, thank you very much. And by the way, here's my question. Do you think Pete Rose will get in the Hall of Fame? Will they ever... forget Hall of the Fame. You think they'll ever let him not be banned anymore?
I don't know. I just feel like they had so many chances to reverse it. I don't see what the catalyst would be to change that now. I mean, this game's been going on for so long.
It's the gambling. It's the gambling. A close buddy of mine's in baseball, and he said it's the gambling. And there are a bunch of people that have said if he's in, they won't ever go back to another Hall of Fame, event. Or whatever.
Right.
And I also think a lot of people just didn't like Pete Rose. They just didn't find him like a good guy. And his wife was, I don't know if you remember all this, his wife was completely batshit crazy when he was around. I mean, they were wild. If there'd have been scandal sheets at the height of his career, I mean, you got to check those stories out. I mean, crazy stories about he and his wife and what was going on and his son. And I mean, it was nuts. And I just think a lot of guys didn't like him, Charlie Hustle, whatever. Well, Mary Pylon, named, by the way, for the thing that you must touch in the end zone to score. Has anybody ever touched you and said, is that considered a score, Mary? I mean, you've had to have jokes
and
told about yourself.
I'm sure is part of that too. But.
Really? Well, you and I could have never been friends. I'd have been touching you constantly, Mary, not even yelling, score. I'm in there. Mary Pylon, the monopolist. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. She was quite serious, wasn't she, Steve?
I think you scared her.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you what that is.
Talking about touching
She never wrote a book. That's, what's so funny? How could I be the first person that ever said that to her? That's what drives me crazy about the insulation of a lot of writers and stuff. I'm amazed. It's like, I guess that would be what? Harassment of some point? I don't know. I mean, if I'm in a sports room, right, and next to me is Mary Pylon, I'd have a football at my desk. I'd walk by her desk and I'd wave it over her head and go, yeah, baby, he's in. I would do it constantly.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like, how do you live without that in your life? That's what's so fun. If I didn't have people make fun of me, call me names, and do all the things they did to me, I wouldn't have ever learned how to live among Homo sapiens. It taught me, comebacks, how to handle it, how not to get upset, whatever, Jay Pylon. Can you imagine? I'd have worn nothing but orange all the time. Yeah. I'd have dressed like SpongeBob.
You would have been begging people to touch you so you can score.
No. Just, I want them to pass the ball over my head. I like that you can do it in the air. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you can score by leaping in the air, and even if you're out of bounds, your body is going out of bounds, you can put the ball back
as long as
over
the ball
pylon.
Is in the field of play. And crosses the line and or touches the pylon.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Touchdown. Speaking of women, they're talking about putting a woman on the $20 bill. Who's on the $20 bill now?
Jackson.
Who is it? Jackson. And who are the women? Well, there is Mrs. They all like that Mrs. Roosevelt, but I got to tell you, man, that's a tough one to be looking at on a. I carry 20s all the time, and that's I know she was his cousin and all that.
Nobody's
But
hot on the money, you know? They're not. No,
Well-
none of them are. Not even the guy.
Forget hot. It's
People printed on the money. I'm not talking about your hookers that lay on you.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, they're working to put a woman, Eleanor Roosevelt, Harriet Tubman. She
Yes.
was at the Underground Railroad.
That's the one.
Rosa Parks, who I believe is from New Orleans. But, and these are the finalists. You can go to womenon20s.com. Those are the finalists. Now, Susan B. Anthony was on the dollar that I've saved. I knew no one was going to use that. You know, for some reason, we didn't like the dollar coin. Then there's like a gold-looking one, right? Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Shirley Chisholm, who was a African-American, she ran for president, too, congresswoman, I believe, maybe a senator. She would be a great one. But here's the one that and this, of course, is to placate what's been going on. Chief Wilma Mankiller, the first female chief of the Cherokee Nation, has been added to the final ballot by popular demand in order to include a choice of a Native American. Now, I've got to tell you, I think the name Mankiller is a tough one. I mean, how do you get that name without having... Was she a long time ago, or is she a modern chief? And all? Look, I'm surrounded by casinos when I'm in California, surrounded by them. And there's always some guy, chief somebody or other, giving a speech. Isn't it a coat and a tie and the whole thing? And then if you wear a headdress, or God forbid, you walk on some land where the hoogie boogie, the spirits are. I mean, I got to tell you, that's the dumbest thing. Are you kidding? They close places constantly. Why? Well, people were walking on our spirits, on our ancestors and all of that. It's weird to me. It's odd. We've already given you billions of dollars of gambling. Gave it to you. You got it. Okay. Sorry. You didn't have the big cannons and the fire sticks like, we had. Sorry. I mean, at some point you got to say that, Hey. And they were rooting people out of other areas, right? Didn't one Indian tribe come in and kill the other Indian tribe and shoot at each other and bow and arrow everybody because of the buffalo or whatever? I mean, everybody kills everybody and steals their property. Everybody. It's the way nations are built. But I don't know that you want Chief Wilma Mankiller on a $20 bill. Now, where is the name? I'd like to know where the name is put. Let me see where the name would be. I don't even know if it's not prominently displayed. So you almost have to guess who the person is. I'm having trouble keeping the window open on my computer that has Eleanor Roosevelt's face in it. I just can't. I keep having to.
Is that rough for you?
It's rough. It is. I mean, how did poor FDR climb aboard that? Now, he had a girlfriend forever.
That's how.
Forever. In a wheelchair. Rich, the president, in a wheelchair, and had a mistress forever. Unbelievable. When you see Dwight Eisenhower, the head of the Allied forces, he looked always to me like some bald-headed granddad. He was supposedly banging his secretary the whole time. It's amazing, isn't it? It's power. It's something about power. I don't get it. Men aren't like that. The most powerful woman in the world could walk into a room and men don't want to sleep with her. The biggest bimbo, a complete idiot, who's overdrawn at the bank. I just don't know how to get my checkbook balanced. You know, I mean, please. We can't get on top of that fast enough. Really powerful woman comes in. She's the lean in.
That's not necessarily true. Look at George Clooney. His wife is very powerful. Couldn't wait to marry that.
Look how late he waited. I warned you.
It doesn't matter. I think that
I did the same thing. You wade through the bimbos. He was going to marry the wrestler. Oh, my God. That made me laugh. The fact that she was a female wrestler and model, every time I saw them in the paper, I thought, she's got to be dumber than you think. George is never going to end up with her. Never. In a million years.
Strong women intimidate you. Strong-minded women intimidate you.
No.
Every story that you have, whenever she's a strong
My woman's strong. My woman. My wife is my woman. My wife. Get in here, woman. My wife's last name is Buzzkill. By the way. You like that one? Eleanor Buzzkill. Yeah. Anyway, no, my wife's a strong woman. I like that. But I waded through all the bimbos to get there. I remember dating somebody that was really fine.
Marrying two other women is not wading through the bimbos.
that was odd. They were nice, but it's bad. But you'd be dating a bimbo for years, and she was good looking. She was a model. When you had sex, it was great and everything else. And then the thing would come up. Like, where are we going? And I think every guy's been through it. The tap dancing to keep that vagina in your vicinity, Steve. Mm-hmm. The tap dancing you have to do is on the euphemisms for we're going to end up together has always been, there ought to be a book written about it, how to do it. Because you don't want to be with them. I don't know if you've been in that situation. They're good looking, you have fun with them, but beyond that, you really don't want to end up with them. And they're pleasant to be with. But they need an end game. You know what I mean? Men don't need an end game. But a woman needs an end game. Have you been in that situation, Steve?
Yeah.
Where you tap dance? Mm-hmm. But you didn't want to break up with her. Right?
Right.
You just didn't want to go. Maybe it's happening to you now. Is that why you're going, you like that?
No, I'm just processing in my brain, thinking about it, yeah.
The guy that worked here before you lived with a woman forever and ever and ever. And apparently she never said, let's not get married or whatever. That's a first for me. And they share things. And
I don't believe him for a second when he says that, though. I really don't.
Well, he'll marry her.
Yeah.
He'll marry her. But he's one of these. He's already there. The furniture's already in place. He's not going anywhere. There are a lot of people that do that. I talked to a guy the other day who was getting married, and his marriage is close, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away. And I go, oh, congratulations. And he goes like this. Oh, yeah, like that. And I didn't say anything. I didn't know him well enough, but I wanted to say, man, that doesn't sound like, guys will be dating maybe women do it too, right, Christine? Dating someone for a while, and
we really,
you're already there.
Want to break up, but we don't.
Yeah.
Kind of just
Let me tell you when you break up. I watched a very interesting movie.
We need to swing from one tree to another.
That's right. I watched a very interesting movie last night called The Most Violent Year, which has this guy who was in that somebody Llewellyn, but he's the new hot guy. He's the new Al Pacino of the 21st century, and they love him in Hollywood. Something Isaac is his last name, and he is a very good actor.
Oscar.
Oscar Isaac. He runs a gas company, like a fuel company in the East, and then there's all sorts of, not mob guys, but they're all kind of, unsavory characters. And he's trying to, keep it straight. He's got 3 little girls, and he's trying to do the right thing. And his wife is this really tough, Jessica Chastain is his wife. And she comes from kind of a tough heating fuel father who her husband now runs the company. And so he's trying to be, kind of honest, but it's tough. So my brother and I are watching this thing, and they're in a really tense situation. They may go broke. The company may go under. They're being indicted. And Jessica Chastain is there. So let's say they've been married, 12 years. The kids look to be, 10, 8, and 5. That's what they look to be. Every time he comes home, after they've had a big problem, and she works in the office with him and does the books and everything else, they sit on the couch and the leg rubbing starts. Now, they've had an argument. The feds are after them. She's the accountant for the company, and she's got to get the other set of books and the whole thing. And people have been trying to kill them and all this. And they did it in about 5 scenes, and they start making out. And I turned to my brother and I said, do you ever remember your wife or a girlfriend ever in a tense situation wanting to have sex? No. Do you, Steve, did you ever have a girlfriend when it's real? Now, we get laid, even if at a funeral, if somebody said, boy, that was pretty sad, let's have sex. We'd go in the back and we'd have sex. That was sad. Right, Christina, when things are really tense, like at work or whatever, do you feel like having sex?
No.
No. But in the movies, they always do it. And on television shows especially, I can remember being in TV shows where they would go, listen, when you guys are in the thing, you got to kind of like look like you're still in love. And I'm thinking, that's the definition in Hollywood and in Hollywood, period, of that they're not going to break up. Where in real life, the last thing anybody is going to have is sex. When, like, if you come home and you think you've made like a date and you think you're going to get laid. I hate this. And you take a Viagra, which costs like $38. So you pop a Viagra, you're ready to go, you come home. Oh, my mother cut her leg. What? My mother was getting out of her car, and the car door scraped against my mother's leg, and we had to go to the emergency room. She needed 4 stitches. Right away, you just wasted $38. Wasted. Her mother's not going to the emergency room, and you're not. You're not getting laid.
How long does it take for one of those pills to react?
30 minutes, 35 minutes. I've never announced to anybody in my real life that I took Viagra. You have to think, like, you wake up and you kind of feel you might going to get laid, see?
Right.
You kind of feel it. So there's some kissing and hugging, nobody's around. Things have been going well. You've been doing the dishes. You've been cooking. Things are, everything's going good. You go, I'm going to get laid tonight, I think. Boom, you pop it in, right? Here's what it does, Christina. Certainly, I can get turned on without it. I'm lucky. But why? Why go through the trouble when you pop the pill and the thing just is, fist hard?
No, I get it. I just was saying, maybe wait till you see your wife, get a read on the situation.
No, because you can't go in the bathroom then. What's funny? If my wife started making... No, if my wife was... I don't want to tell her. I don't want to tell anybody.
You don't have to tell her.
So excuse me, I'm going to get a glass of water.
You got to wait 30 minutes. You got to wait 30 minutes.
Okay.
Rub her parts.
That's better than taking a pill and having a rock-hard boner for 4 hours for no reason.
It's like being Superman when you take a Viagra. You've got to go into a phone booth for a minute and change your clothes and come out as Superman. So I would have to go in the bathroom into my special hiding place where they are. And so let's say she's making out, she's rubbing my leg and everything else. And I go, oh, gosh, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. It breaks the spell. You go in immediately. You know what my wife would be saying? You're not smoking a joint, are you? She would say something like that, right?
Yeah.
You take the pill, then you come back out, and the spell may be broken.
Okay,
the phone could ring. One of the
I have an idea.
Your wife wants to fuck you, and one of the kids calls from college. You're not getting laid. That's stopping it right there. So your wife's rubbing you, you're ready to go, and you felt it hours before. It lasts, let's say it lasts for 24 hours. You pop it, and yeah, you're ready to, and you still make out and everything else. But yeah, you gotta sneak it.
I think that you can time it better and, handle all of this. But, walk into the house, kind of read the mood, run to the bathroom.
That's what I do.
Take it. And then go and start rubbing her leg, get her in the mood.
Yes.
Instead of you
do all
taking this and then you have to please yourself.
Let's say you're watching TV. You're watching TV and nothing has led you to believe anything's going to happen. And she starts rubbing your leg. You go, well, I really want to be rock hard immediately. See? You'd have to go into the bathroom, take the pill, wait 30 minutes, and come back. You don't want to break the mood. If she's rubbing my leg and I haven't taken a pill, I'm going to go with what I came with.
Right. See,
whatever happens, I'm going to go with it.
It makes it too easy for you. Now it's like, you want to snap your fingers and it takes all the
you just
fun
want to
out of
be
it.
ready. But you got to look. Let me tell you something. I've wasted hundreds of dollars misreading. Okay? And it angers me. And so about an hour later, 2 hours later, when I know that, what's the matter with you? Nothing. Nothing's wrong like that. Why don't you just change your name to Chief Wilma Mankiller? That's what I'm going to start saying. Who's that? Oh, nobody. No one. It's hard being a man, Christina. We have to read your moods and shit. You don't care about us. You walk in, you already own the thing that we want. You have it on you. You have that thing on you that every man wants. And so when you walk in the house, you're the object of our excitement, right? That's not how women look at it. They walk in, they like you, whatever. It's not about your package. A woman walks in the house, even though the man loves you and finds you interesting and everything else, the original and the strongest attraction is vaginal. It's vaginal. And we should stop apologizing for it. That's what I mean by that. Doesn't mean we don't love you. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person and we're glad. But it's a vaginal, and it overrides, it overrides your computer. How about that? Yeah. Steve, am I wrong about this, Steve?
We need to get you a vajankle. Just in case.
No, my sex life is fine.
No, I'm just saying, just in case
you're not listening to logic
wrong, then there's an option for you.
Look, if you and I were living together and I thought something was going to happen and your mom and dad call and there's a problem, that's sex is done for the night. So I wouldn't take the pill. I wouldn't take the pill then. Mm-hmm. That would be my read. That would be my read. That's all. Because we'd have to talk about your mom and dad and what's going on and everything else, and you don't feel like doing anything, right? You probably don't even feel like going out. You go, you know what? This has really bummed me. That's how it works. That's different than a man. A man deals with it and then, can go on. Listen, that's why they made us the way we are, and that's why you're made the way you are. Listen, I hate to get into these deep discussions because only men will agree with me and women will disagree. That's all. And I think that on some level, this is discriminatory to some people. That's why I keep saying, Steve, do you agree with me? So if ever we're called up on charges, I have it on tape that he agreed with me. So they'll sue both of you. Us. Anyway, let's go to Tom of Arizona. Of course I don't need
Hey, Jay.
Viagra, but that pump comes in mighty handy. And by the way, I've been mailed everything that we've ever had a guest on. I've had my penis in a pump. I've had the Putin butt plug up my ass. I've used it all. I mean,
all at the same time.
Wait a minute, my squatty potty slim had better be coming, 2 a day overnight. Yes, Tom of Arizona, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a comment. Something that works for me better than Viagra
What is it?
actually having my wife dress up like a mailman. God, it gets me hot.
Yeah, you see, it doesn't work, Tom.
No.
It doesn't work. It's not. You're not funny. It's not funny. I've tried to warn you. Okay?
When they hang up on their own, then they know that they've gone bad.
it's
really funny for me.
Yeah, but
Because when they call, they're cocky. You know what I mean? Like they got something.
Let's go to Mark of Dayton, Ohio. Yes, Mark, it's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Write this company name down. I can.
No, we can't say any. Don't say any. Are you going to say one of these offshoot bullshit, buy it from India companies for Viagra or Cialis or something?
Well, you're not. Yeah, you're not as mad as
no. Buddy, let me tell you something. That is not. Listen, China and India have one interest. They have a lot of people. They don't need us to. I wouldn't put anything in my mouth from India for all the money on earth. You would buy what, $1 Viagra on the internet and put that in your mouth? Are you crazy? Are you nuts?
All day chemistry, it works just the same.
It doesn't. I'm telling you, don't even look online. You'll be scared to death. There are people that big tumors came on their arms and shit from taking that stuff. Are you kidding? It looks like it. I know it does.
Arm or anything yet. The worst thing to say is tell your wife that you're taking a pill and then you waste it, and then it's definitely not going to happen.
No. Well, yeah, you're not taking a pill. But you take, what, $4 Viagra? How much does it cost you a pill?
I can buy, like, a supply of, I think it's 40 for, like, $70.
40 pill. You have 40 Viagra pills laying around. What do you have them, like in a gumball machine? That would be funny. You just put a penny in and there's your Viagra. I don't believe it's real. I don't know what it is.
I have some in the car in case I think I'm going to get lucky. Pop it before. Or
that's
I have
good.
some at home.
So when I was giving you my opinion and stuff, was I sort of correct about the long-term relationship and sexual situation that men have to deal with?
Definitely.
Thank you. Be real careful with that Indian stuff. I'm not kidding you. I'm not sure if that's real. And I know the packaging looks real and everything else. Don't they deliver it in a plain brown wrapper? Someone told me they did that.
They do. But it's all in a package, and I think it's from the same company that makes the stuff here.
Why is it $1 there and $40 here?
Our pharmacies, they're 10 times the cost of anywhere else in the world,
Really?
so we're dumb enough to pay for it.
I don't know if I'd put anything like that in my mouth. I don't know. But, okay. Well, thank you very much, Mark of Dayton, Ohio. Thank you. Let's go to Jeff, who's in Canada. Yes, Jeff, Jay Thomas. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey,
and by the way, there are a lot of young guys that take Viagra. You know, it's like a recreational drug. I have a funny feeling that in the future, that is going to be, I don't think you're supposed to take that stuff when you're like 30 years old. And I think that I don't think those drugs over a period of time are like a good thing. I don't know. I'm not a scientist and there's no test on it, but it's like, you have friends, Jeff, that are single that take it.
I don't. I've taken it, and I'm not really an old guy. I'm 43.
Yeah.
But no, it gives me a headache.
Oh, it does. Does it ever give you a blue? Some people say that they see a blue haze around the periphery of their eyes, and some people get hot. Their face gets hot. That's happened to me.
Yeah,
Your face gets
I've had
hot.
that. Yeah, my face gets red, and but no, I wanted to agree with you about your earlier comment. I never, ever will again tell my wife I took a Viagra.
What did she do when you took it?
Just totally took it personally. Like, what? You're not turned on?
There you go. There you go. Well, let me tell you who you wouldn't need a Viagra with. Her sister. You wouldn't need a Viagra.
In those instances.
Right. It's true. Christina.
What?
Look, your boyfriend loves you.
Mhm.
But if you had a beautiful cousin and your beautiful cousin comes over, your boyfriend's penis would get hard with you like in 8 or 9 minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
With
got a
your
mind of
beautiful
its own.
cousin,
Can't
it's
help
8
that.
seconds. 8 seconds. Your cousin comes in and goes, "Oh, hi," whatever your name is, wow, like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The stranger thing, that would that might help. my wife's an attractive lady, and I'm attracted to her, but I'm not a young man anymore.
No.
And you know,
is her sister fine, Jeff? Does she have a good-looking sister?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You could tell
her sister
her-
came in and said, "I'm never going to tell."
Just next time, tell her that you're reducing pulmonary hypertension, or fighting prostate cancer, or you have these pills because you're keeping all the flowers that you buy her fresh. Those are all other uses for Viagra. Burning off fat. These are all things that you could say instead of, I have a hard time keeping my dick hard.
Well, that reminds me of the story of the guy whose wife's sister called him and said, "Listen, I've been wanting to fuck you for years, and I just am so turned on by you." And the guy goes, "Jesus, this is crazy." She goes, "I know, but I am so turned on, and have you ever thought about me?" And the guy was really worried what to say. So he goes, well, she goes, "Listen, don't tell me anything right now. No one's home tonight. Just come over at about 7:30 to my apartment." And you know this story? Do you know this? Anybody know this story?
It happened to me actually once. Yeah.
And so the guy goes over to his sister's apartment, tentatively. He walks, opens the door, and she is in this incredible negligee. And she is so fine, he cannot believe what he is seeing. And she is writhing and moving around and telling him, and she's got champagne, and there's all kinds of stuff there, and he just can't believe it. And he goes, "Okay, look, this is unbelievable. Could you just give me a couple of minutes, please?" And he opens her apartment door, and outside of her apartment door is his wife and her family, and they yell, "Surprise!" And it was his birthday. The moral of the story is, always keep your rubbers in the car, Steve. That's the moral of the story. Right? Because you need to leave the building for a few minutes and make sure that there are no police, there's not a surprise party. Now, that's told as an urban legend, but I was told that originally happened to somebody. Yeah.
You never know.
My sister-in-law would love me to hit on her, Christina. That's how competitive they have been, my wife. And I'm telling you, she would have loved it. And you know what I did? I teased her. She was, the pretty one, this one, and that one, and all. Not to me. I'd go, "Man, your face looks a little puffy today." She's gorgeous. Your eyes look a little, I don't know what. Yeah. You know what I don't like about you? You have no wrinkles. I would say that to her sometimes. The other night I told her during Easter, it's pretty cool to see you have an egg-shaped head. She didn't like it at all. Oh, my wife went away. But she said, "Why do you do that to her?" I go, I'm just always, I don't know. I just said it. She goes, "God forbid." Like that. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you very much. Wow. Let's go to Steve of Pittsburgh. Yes, Steve. Jay Thomas, go ahead.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Fine.
Hey, you were talking about the fish before in the Gulf.
Yeah.
That are gone. Why are the crocodiles and alligators still there?
No, there's no crocodiles in the United States.
I mean,
only alligators. Crocodiles are in Australia. They're in whatever. The alligators may, in fact, be there. All wildlife is horribly affected by the spill because the marsh. But you know the difference between a marsh and a swamp, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know the difference?
No, I don't.
A marsh is salt water, and a swamp is fresh water. So we have freshwater alligators, and we have marsh alligators too, but it's brackish water, so it's kind of salty and it's not pure salt. And so I don't know that we have alligators that do pure salt. I could be wrong, but anyway, they are all affected. All of the wildlife. There've been less ducks. There've been it has destroyed the wildlife in South Louisiana. Of course you're not. Why would they announce that? It would ruin, there's so many hunters and fishermen that come here. It's a, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars industry here, By the way, all of our shrimp and everything that people eat, Gulf shrimp, there are a lot of people that'll never eat it again. And I may or may not agree with them. I don't know. But definitely the oil is in them. Sure. Absolutely. It's out there, So, yeah, it's hurt everything. Yeah, I mean, pelicans, and there's just not as many things out there. It's weird. Crazy. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Joey, who's also in Pittsburgh. You know Steve of Pittsburgh, Joey? You know him? You're in the same neighborhood?
No. Hey, when you have a problem, they say you should contact the doctor if your erection lasts more than 4 hours with Viagra. What they do is they give you Sudafed.
Really?
Yes, it counteracts it, and so you should have some Sudafed at hand, at home. If you plan on taking a Viagra and it doesn't work out, just take a Sudafed and it goes right down. So I know how you get real cheap Viagra, Jay.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. So first of all, if your erection lasts more than 4 hours, apparently it's very painful, I guess, or whatever. I would do anything not to call a doctor or something. I mean, I just can't imagine what I would do. But the last thing I want to do is go. I'd rather die than go to the emergency room and they put my penis onto one of those tables like that. I would faint. So, but you say if you take Sudafed, it makes the hard-on go down.
Yes, you can call a doctor and ask.
Really?
I know how you can get Sudafed real cheap, Jay.
How?
Steal it out of your mailbag.
You know what? It's stupid. But was the first part of it true?
Yes, it is. I was just wanting to get with that.
But you're not. But you're not getting. It's over. You did it. It's fucked up. It's like you telling the Lone Ranger story and trying to hit the meatball off the Christmas tree. You don't have it. You don't. Yeah, you don't have any of that. You got nothing. It's sad. It must be. I mean, to me, it would be horrible to be you. I don't know what else to say to you. And I'm really not kidding. It's sad.
All right.
Has anybody ever thought you were funny?
He did
that pause, I think, answers. Yeah, that's right. It's unbelievable. John of Palm Springs. Yes, John, go ahead. By the way, this will be one of those. This is starting to happen. I lay in bed at night and go, what the fuck did I do to deserve all this shit? Yes, John of Palm Springs, go ahead. You got Craig Ferguson in his own jet, and I'm looking at that going, what? He has his own private pilot in a fucking jet. Yes, go ahead, John of Palm Springs. Hello? He's gone. Forget him. All right. Coming up, by the way, the burrito pillow. What's the Christina, why would you need that? It's just to hug the burrito?
Why wouldn't you need it?
That's right. I forgot. The burrito pillow coming up on the Jay Thomas Show.
Cover shotgun. Super sniper rifle. Teammate took one to the head. Watch it. That's like a weapon, Dad. Weapon pad's open. seconds to weapon pad.
eliminated the Night Luminary. Level 7 wrecks available. Wreck confirmed. Incoming Prometheans. It's Warden Eternal. Confirmed. Warden Eternal takedown. Hopefully for
recharged and ready.